I'm based in Melbourne. I've been CEO of EdSmart for just over a year. Our total company is like 18. The only way for us to deliver the sorts of outcomes and position in the market that I think we can will be through the prodigious use of AI. Half, seven or eight developers are customer facing. I've got finance, operations, and me. It's in my staff's interest to be towards the front rather than the back of this. So I started looking for, well, what can I do to help the staff, help the team learn and find their way through. I was, um, I guess, surprised at how difficult it was to get engagement on AI as a topic. Data and privacy are big issues for us. So kind of reticence or a lot of caution about that. People are busy, have got jobs to do. The developers do have a identity issue. Like I've spent 20 years being the only person who could code, and all of a sudden the computers can really do it well. It became clear that I really needed to bring in a much more structured approach. And so we kicked off the year with an in-person offsite. And doing it in person was actually worked surprisingly much better than I thought because you actually had people seeing it for the first time, looking over each other's shoulder. So you get a lot of that cross-pollination much more quickly in person than when everyone's on their own screen somewhere else. And, it was also part of a team building exercise and starting to shift, get people to know each other better and those sorts of things. It was a couple of hours and it was for us, that was really valuable because it basically gave permission and I think opened up quite a few eyes, particularly for the people who are less kind of curious about it and kind of could see, well, this is much more capable than it used to be, and certainly much more capable than a year or two ago. So there was actually quite a lot of value of the speaking the concerns and kind of naming them in the room, because I think there is real concern about job loss, resilience, kind of change, all those things that kind of are better spoken than not spoken. And even though you don't fix any of those things, but you at least have a name for them and kind of have a common view that it's not just you who's concerned. So we split the company into two circles and basically ran them over 6 or 8 weeks. I tried to mix as many combinations as I could. Basically, I split all the execs. I scheduled one person, like everyone got a chance to be the facilitator. And so I found that, yeah, the kind of assigning was just easier. I think the other really important piece for us where we were was allowing kind of the leadership moment for each staff member. Obviously, there are people who are motivated, and then there's quite a few who aren't quite as motivated. And kind of it also put a little bit of the social pressure onto the people who are laggards. Because we would have had one or two people who turned up as the facilitators completely unprepared for something the whole company is moving along. And then they get a bit of a sense of, well, maybe I misjudged it a bit and maybe I actually need to pay a bit more attention because everybody else
Yeah.
is on board and I'm not. So pretty much everyone attended every session. We had the facilitator session, so whoever was facilitating that week had an extra hour or so. And another big part of it is just how much of the learning is from each other. And so we ended up doing a demo day and then basically having everyone present to the whole company and kind of doing a 2 hour session, but everyone just showing their 3 minutes on their little piece. And I think that was also another highlight of the whole thing. And so knowing that they had to do that and kind of the social awkwardness of not presenting kind of meant that people at least, did have enough to present a couple of minutes on something. Part of the AI circles is we already designed that we were going to do a demo day, but we did get people to kind of choose a topic and kind of in week 3 or 4. And so that was kind of at least a sort of a level of commitment to delivering something and also kind of the level of social kind of having to stand on stage for 3 minutes. And look, we did a lot of noise around just look, progress is the goal here. Trying to take the heat off. Doesn't need to be flashy or like doesn't even need to really work. It just needs to show what you've tried and the sorts of things. It's really, you know, uh, helping people share and learn from each other is really a big part of the outcome rather than actually what people build through the exercise. And so once we realized it was going to be remote, we basically gave people 3 minutes. We ran a number of prizes. I think most technologically advanced, definitely a little bit of competition and well received. We ran a people's choice, best for customer, best for staff. I think that was about it. Kind of a nominal prize, but it also helped in kind of our team building. Uh, and then and then basically, the whole company basically went one by one through and then voted. There was votes. The exec team came across and made some decisions, and we handed out prizes on the day. A Wish, who is sort of engineering level 2 support, technical support. We've got a lot of issues where level 1 support can't answer questions, and so there's a lot of work where those guys can help make the tools available for our support team to answer questions without needing technical support. And so he built something that made the database easier to interrogate. We've automated our renewal process. Like the CFO, she's gone and automated all of her month end. Now she can have month end ready kind of in a couple of hours. We're trying to think of what the right rhythms are for these sorts of sessions. As we do more in-person things, we'll integrate that because you do kind of want the discussion as well and the learning. But I absolutely highly encourage kind of the monthly thing or quarterly or whatever the right cadence is. We've got an all hands every month. I might use the other fortnight as the kind of come into the office and we'll spend 2 hours on kind of, and then go out to lunch, or it's how do I get the constant sharing of just what's working, what have you tried, what's not working. Just the fact that you're trying something will give someone else an opportunity to give you advice on what they've tried. And that actually is a big accelerator. Like we're just trying to think through those things. I need to get more sharing. I need to make it easier for people to experiment with more tools. Yeah, there's really interesting times for people who have an interest in coding, product-centric engineers, designers who can code. Those roles are merging more. It's a great time for people who have agency and make action to get things done because their ability to actually do a bunch of things now compared to 6 months ago is changing in really interesting ways. If I think about the kind of broader perspective of advice for job seekers or people after their own career, it's the agency part is, for people who are in between, like using the tools, building stuff that's interesting, being able to show it, like it's part of every interview. Just the pace of change is going to keep getting faster. It's kind of the resilience component of it, and they're the people who will, I guess, be able to adapt and make the most of the opportunities that are coming up. Great way of introducing staff to learn their way through, and it's a time where there's no real framework or playbook yet, so it's kind of everyone needs to find their own way. Is a really really compelling way to help your staff through and help the company learn how to use it.